Uh, I mean, as evidenced by the fact that a number of a number of us have mentioned that in one way or another in our discussion. Just looking at the raw numbers in our firsthand experience in Latin America is that the sheer amount of funding is just dwarfs any sort of, whether it would be potential government funding from directly from the like a Latin American governments or from private funders. There are private foundations and private funders that do fund some justice work, but the reality is that it's a tiny amount in comparison. We also have partners that have worked with us to get information specifically on this issue of exporting U.S. practices. But then because of the influence of U.S. funds, they're reticent to, to publicly join this type of discussion, I would say, because they're funding, and for oftentimes very good work that they're doing is largely coming from the U.S. government, or in some part coming from the U.S. government. So it has kind of this distorting effect as well on the whole discussion, that I think is really potentially really damaging, that you don't have a full broad discussion about what are alternative ways to look at justice systems, looking at more kind of radical solutions to a really significant social problem isn't on the table for civil society in these countries.